Thank you for tuning in to Jungle Jerry's Treehouse. So let's read a story here. Let's do Bigfoot. That's classic. I mean, I've been hearing about Bigfoot ever since I was a little kid. And he's been seen everywhere, right? So, and they make commercials. I'm like messing with what's his name? Messing with Sasquatch. I think that's what it is. And they're funny. It's funny little commercials. I think it's Jack Link's jerky. All right, let's look up the Bigfoot story. So we're going to read out of the monster book, Creatures, Beasts, and Fiends of Nature by Nick Redfern. Where's Bigfoot? There he is. Page 194. No, 198. Oh, look at this picture of him. Can you see that very good? Kind of looks like an orangutan there in the face. All right, so my new deal here. Wasn't sure how it's going to work. It's not working too good for this, but it's it won't stand up. But that's okay. I'll just lean it up against it. Okay, if the North American Bigfoot really does exist, then what is it? The most likely candidate is Gigantopithecus blacki. It was a massive ape that lived in the distant past and which some Bigfoot researchers are convinced may explain sightings of large anomalous apes in some of the wilder, desolate, and forested areas of our planet today. There is just one problem. No, there is just one problem with this particular theory. Mainstream science, biology, and zoology all assure us that Gigantopithecus became extinct thousands of years ago. Just maybe, however, it didn't. In terms of what where was I? In terms of what is known about Gigantopithecus, may have to travel back in time to a relatively recent period, the 1930s. The immense beast has the thorny problem of nothing less than male impotence to thank for its discovery. For years, Chinese herbalists and doctors, some accredited and some not, have utilized fossilized teeth to create cocktails that, so they claim, can cure the utilized fossilized teeth to create utilized fossilized teeth to create cocktails that, so they claim, can cure the embarrassing ailment of being unable to get it up. That's what it says. Since the Chinese landscape is rich in fossilized bones, people have made significant profits from selling such items to apothecaries all across China. It turns out that in 1936, a German man named Ralph von Koenigswald came across a huge fossilized tooth, specifically a molar, in a Hong Kong apothecary. It was highly fortuitous that von Koenigswald was the man who made the discovery, since he was a paleontologist and instantly recognized the significance of what had fallen into his lap. Not only was the molar giant-sized, von Koenigswald was able to determine it came from a primate, a very large one. In the immediate years that followed, von Koenigswald found further such examples and coined the term Gigantopithecus blacki. An exhibit at San Diego's Museum of Man displays a model of a Gigantopithecus blacki. Could its descendants be the Bigfoot of today? That was that picture I just showed you. Von Koenigswald was temporarily and disastrously interrupted at the height of the Second World War when he became a prisoner of war of the Japanese. Nevertheless, he was not deterred, and when the hostilities were over, he continued his quest to understand the true nature and life of Gigantopithecus, as did several other people. One of them was an anatomist named Franz Weidenreich. In his 1946 book, Apes, Giants, and Man, Weidenreich made the controversial assertion that Gigantopithecus may have been far more human-like than ape-like. Chinese scientists also got hot on the trail of Gigantopithecus during this same time. Then in 1956, a massive jawbone of the huge ape was unearthed at a cave in Luqing, China. The result was that in a relatively short time, a great deal was learned about this previously unheard of hairy giant. Perhaps most amazing and impressive of all was Gigantopithecus statistics. Estimates suggested that the height for an adult male would have been around 10 feet, while it might have tipped the scales at 1,200 pounds in weight. As for when it lived, the estimates were intriguing. Gigantopithecus authority and biological anthropologist at the University of Iowa, Russell L. Kyochon, says the next development came in 1965 with the discovery of 12 Gigantopithecus teeth at Wuming, a few hours' drive north of Nanning. These teeth were significantly larger than their counterparts from Luqing, and the other animal fossils found with them suggested that the site was considerably younger. Current estimates are that Luqing is 1 million years old, and that Wuming is between 300,000 and 400,000 years old. As for when Gigantopithecus is believed to have become extinct, Kyochon suggests around 200,000 years ago, but after having lived for roughly 6 million years after having lived for roughly 6 million years. On the matter of why exactly the animal finally reached extinction, Aaron Wayman, writing for the Smithsonian, said, "The rise of the Tibetan Plateau 1.6 million to 800,000 years ago altered the climate of South Asia, ushering in a colder, drier period when forests shrank. Other factors could have exacerbated this crisis. Gigantopithecus neighbor, Homo erectus, may have overhunted and or outcompeted their larger ape cousin, and at least one dental study indicates Gigantopithecus developed and matured very slowly, a sign they probably had low reproductive rates, which can elevate a species' risk of going extinct. Of course, one could make an extremely valid argument that since people are still claiming to see giant apes in the very areas where we know Gigantopithecus roamed, such as Tibet, Vietnam, China, and India, this is evidence that the mighty hairy giant is still amongst us, but now known by its far more famous name of Bigfoot. There is, however, one problem. Due to its massive size, there is a general consensus among primatologists that Gigantopithecus walked on its knuckles in very much the same way that today's baboons move around. Bigfoot, the Yeti, and the rest of the monstrous pack are almost exclusively described as standing and walking in an upright fashion. Plus, many of the cryptid apes of our world are described as tall. Excuse me. We're generally talking about talking about creatures of 7 to 8 feet in height. Encounters with man beasts in excess of 10 feet in height are far fewer in number. On top of that, there are even suggestions that Gigantopithecus may have reached and possibly even surpassed a height of 13 feet. This is far in excess of what is generally reported in Bigfoot. Admittedly, however, there are reports from Tibet of a particular type of Yeti referred to as the Nyalmo, which incredibly is reputed to reach stratospheric heights of 20 feet. Man. Is it possible that Gigantopithecus adapted over millions of years to the extent that the original huge knuckle walker became a generally smaller upright beast? One popularly and famously known as Bigfoot. Sorry, that's a question. Oh, this is all one. Okay, is it possible that Gigantopithecus adapted over millions of years to the extent that the original huge knuckle walker became a generally smaller upright beast, one popularly and famously known as Bigfoot? There, that's the way you're supposed to read it. Perhaps given the sheer number of sightings of anomalous apes, and they got some hard words in here, in the precise areas where the immense creature lived, we should give some deep consideration to this particular theory. All right. So there you go. Bigfoot. That was a little bit longer story than I usually have to read. The Monster Book, Creatures, Beasts, and Fiends of Nature by Nick Redfern. Excuse me. I need some more of this Red Bull. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. See you all on the next one. Bye.